down match. That is right. And up here at the top left of the map is our player who we hope wins so we can see him do a celebration.
Starting ace.
Sorry about that.
What are you sorry about?
I interrupted myself because I heard them announce it on the Korean stream behind me and I started talking again. Anyway, down here at the bottom right though, he has his scope trained on our celebrator. He is
MVP Sniper.
I wanted to mention, by the way, guys, something I don't know how many of you know about already.
I don't know it.
You might know.
I actually don't know if I know.
You don't know if you know. Well,
Sorry.
You're about to find out.
All right.
There, for those of you guys who are familiar with IRC Internet Relay Chat, you can actually go to QuakeNet, irc.quakenet.org, and go to hashtag GSL and chat with other GSL viewers there. That's something that has been around for a while. Not a lot of people use it,
yeah.
But you know, I forgot that it was there. I recently have actually started using it while on the cast. I actually hang out in the chat, sometimes read it during breaks, and even during games sometimes see how the viewers are feeling about what's going on. So I just thought I'd mention that. Anyone can join that chat on QuakeNet, just hashtag GSL. I'm in it right now, in fact. And it's pretty cool to just be able to join that chat and talk to other people who are watching the GSL. It's a really good way to make you feel like you're not alone.
I'm gonna have to, yeah, I mean, that's one of the best ways to, that's one of the reasons why I like watching live more than the VODs is, Wolf's just showing me like a ton of people joining the chat room right now. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to talk about the games with other people, and it just makes it a lot more fun. It's one of the reasons why I love live stuff, going to barcrafts and everything. But by the way, we do have Ace going ahead and putting a pylon down to block the expansion there, and Sniper looks like he's just going to wait until that pylon can be taken out. He had to move one drone back, that probe doing tons of damage, and delaying the expansion for a long time. And it looks like he's going to forge expand at the ramp.
Yeah, he's going actual gateway before cannon. I really like the choice to do that. Now the Zerglings actually smartly are going to go up here before going to attack because they know the cannon timing, the Overlord can see that, and also they want to make sure that the third is not pylon blocked because that oftentimes does happen. Double gas going on now for Ace, of course, very normal timing for that, and he will be able to complete his wall off with a Cybernetics core very soon.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, right now, his opponent he's made actually a total of 6 Zerglings instead of 4, and had a late hatchery. He's now making his third base, but he can't really do anything with those Zerglings. Oh, he's not going to do a complete wall off. That's,
okay. Oh, interesting.
That's a lot of players do like to do this. Some say it's better to do a full wall. Some argue that you don't have to. It just depends on your style.
Well, I was kind of wondering what he was going to do because I had this. I don't know, I had the sneaking suspicion that if he did go for the complete wall off, that we might see some Stargate play, because Ace does tend to like his Stargate play in PvZ, and if you've got that wall off so your ground units can't get out anyway, we might have seen, well, units that can fly over the wall basically, but he is... I almost got Wolf to spit take on the observing computer right here. That would have been awesome. Anyway, but we are going to see Ace go ahead and get a Stalker there and just start to power up, and he's going to wait for that Overlord to be killed. Oh, is he going to actually kill an Overlord? That might be good.
There you go.
I don't know if he's going to kill it.
It might be good if he doesn't kill it. It's not good, but if he does, it is good.
Unless you're Sniper, in which case...
it's bad.
It's good if he doesn't kill it.
He will kill it.
Yep. Boom.
Nice.
Splorch was the last word that Overlord ever said.
Is that a word? Double gas going down the natural now for Ace, and the Overlord, there's another Overlord at the right side, but it's going to be a while before he gets to see anything. So now it's, a huge misstep by Sniper to not actually hit the timing to check for those gases. He totally botched it. Oh, I like this, though. In the middle of the map, he had the watchtower held, and he hit his Zerling, so he will catch this probe by the looks of things.
Yep, the probe is running, well, floating, I guess, hovering away, and actually, it's got like one shot left. Oh, it almost, I think it was going to about survive for a second. And
it's totally fine though because he doesn't have a full wall off. It's not as bad. He can actually just send a second probe out. His warp gates aren't even done anyways. He's got those 3 being added. Oh, I like this. Now he's shown actually the 4-gate pressure to Sniper, but Sniper might assume that means there's no additional gas that is natural just yet. So I kind of like his choice to put the gateways in plain view. There are a lot of Zerglings out on the map.
yeah, he actually lost that Zealot, and he's going to lose his Stalker. By the way, I just do want to point out just a slight thing that we saw him attacking those units in the middle there. And, you know, to get into Code S, to succeed in Code S, you have to actually not just play solid. You have to play super, super, super strong. You have to be so good. And I remember watching, like, Hero playing, and he would actually target down individual injured Zerglings when he was microing his Stalker, stuff like that. That's the kind of thing we're not seeing from these players thus far this game. So, I don't know, just saying these guys might be on a lesser level than our other players who've been in Code S previously, but we do have Ace pushing out with a group of sentries to try and take a 3rd base.
Yeah, he may potentially take that 3rd right now. He is getting Hallucination right now. He already has +1. He's getting +1 armor. And Robotics, no Twilight Council just yet. Just going to be saving that gas a little bit longer so he can get these upgrades up. And he's taking that 3rd. This is pretty tough. It's a risky 3rd to take, but he can definitely hold it if he scouts correctly. The lair is done. Roaches are on the way. He needs to know what type of composition his opponent is building and how to counteract that. +1 Carapace is on the way. Double Extractors being added at the 3rd base. When this lair finishes, it may just be Roach upgrades, but it's the potential for mutas is still there, so he'll have to scout for this. And Roach speed is on the way, but +1 melee attacks is on the way as well.
Interesting. Yeah, so he's going to be focusing on those Zerglings. It's going to be good. Zerglings, if they have good upgrades, can be very, very cost effective, especially if you have, well, obviously better upgrades than your opponent. Picks off that probe, but we do have Ace building a nice little wall here, and this is interesting because, you know, I don't feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but we usually don't see Protosses take a 3rd that fast.
No, this is really fast. Usually the Protoss does some sort of pressure or attack.
Yeah, exactly.
So in this case, Ace is just playing passively. And this goes back again to what I was saying earlier about Ace being so unpredictable. You just can't quite say what type of abilities he's going to do. He's adding 2 cannons now at his natural expansion, and he's adding 2 at his 3rd base, so he's going to have a ton of cannons expecting pressure here, and Roach pressure is what he's going to get. He's now seen it with this Hallucinated Phoenix, and he has actually put his sentries at his 3rd base. He's making a Twilight Council now. He does have 1 Immortal and a 2nd one on the way. He's actually positioned one of his Immortals in a risky spot, though, out in the open.
Yeah,
he needs
that's
to pull that back.
But he's going to have to bring it up to his natural if he's going to survive, or his 3rd rather. Those Roaches are probably going to, well, if they wanted to, they could easily take out those gateways because, well, the sentries aren't too long of range. They can't just fire over those gateways. But Sniper could also just swing around the middle, and he's actually sent a Changeling in there to see what the situation is.
Oh, he's going to...
At the natural.
Almost trapped a lot of Roaches. The Force Heals are well spaced, but not quick enough. And you're exactly right, the Changeling will spot the situation that naturally is going to go for that. There are Immortals here, though. With 2 Immortals and just a few sentries, he may not want to commit. He's going to go for it. He could get sandwiched here, though.
That could have been very bad. But again, I mean, Ace, because he's playing so passively, he's up to almost 70 probes right now. He doesn't have a lot of units on the ground.
He really doesn't. Force Field's going down, traps a few Zerglings here. A lot of hesitation by our Zerg player. More Force Field's going down, and Ace is unbreakable right now. I really feel this attack needs to be called off. He's making more Zerglings. He's only 6 Harvesters up, 74 to 68. He's got a total of 31 Roaches and 46 Zerglings out right now. He does not have any Roach upgrades except speed. He's going to try to break through.
Rallying in Zerglings as well. He's trying to break through. The Immortals doing so much damage. The Force Field's coming down from the other side. He's going to fight half the army with this Stalker Force and fight the other half trapped on the ramp with the Immortals. Looks like he's going to lose some sentries. Nice targeting by Sniper, targeting down those sentries with the Roaches.
I don't like the choice to try to flank by Ace. He did not need to do that.
He's not microing his sentries at all. He could have easily pulled those back to the cannons. Instead, he just sit there and let them die to the Roaches. There's only like 8 Roaches, and he just sat there and let the Roaches kill off all of his sentries. And so he doesn't have very many sentries left, I guess. He still does have those Immortals, though, and those Immortals really saved him from that. Otherwise, he would have just gone down so quickly. Nice big warping of Stalkers here to stop these mutas.
He made 4 more cannons at his natural. but the Mutas here are pretty scary. He has the cannons prepared, though, for the Mutas. He's been able to scout everything with Phoenixes, and he's totally prepared for anything that Sniper's going to throw him, but Sniper is significantly ahead in supply, has control of the center right now. He's taking a base at the bottom left, and he can just continue to do things like this. There is nothing but cannons here, and cannons alone are not going to be enough.
Wow, yeah, he's coming in with his force from the other side, though. So Sniper might actually lose a significant portion of his arm. Well, actually, no, he can just fly his Mutas out again, I guess. But he blinks in, there was his Stalkers targeting down some of the Mutas. The Forge gets targeted down, though. I didn't see if he canceled an upgrade there, but the Mutas are doing so much damage while the Zerglings distract the ground force.
Oh, a huge force of Zerglings streaming in here. There are so many cannons at the third base, though, that they will buy a decent amount of time for him to warp in units. In the meantime, the Mutas have been all but chased away.
But he's not warping in units. He's been warping in Stalkers to deal with the Mutas, so he didn't have a round of Zealots to protect this expansion.
Yeah, he's lost so many probes now,
Lost a ton of probes.
Making more cannons there now, and he will actually be able to hold this off, but he's losing more Stalkers in the main base to Mutalis. The Stalker count getting dangerously low at 12 at this point. With the amount of Zerglings out on the map, 12 is just simply not enough. He tries to target down the Nexus, will not get it with the Zerglings, but may be able to follow through with the Mutas.
Yeah, he could easily pick that off with the Mutas if he distracts in the main at all. And so this is really interesting. Basically,
I don't like this. I don't know if I like this by Sniper. He's going to lose a lot of Mutas. There's so many cannons finishing here.
He's trying to target the Nexus with the Zerglings.
He does get it, but he loses a lot of Mutas in the process. And with the amount of probes he killed, with the saturation, killing the Nexus is not as significant as it could have been. I don't know if I like that choice. He lost a lot of Mutas and could have lost more if Ace and Microed better.
Yeah, definitely. This is, wow.
Ace is misreading the positioning of the Mutas several times here. He does have the ability to use Hallucination to spot them, but he doesn't have any sentries left, really. He's got a few at his natural, but he keeps blinking into his main to defend Mutas that are not there, and then he leaves himself open on other angles. And if Sniper takes advantage of that once or twice, he's going to really be in trouble.
And I like the fact that he's trying to put these cannons everywhere in order to protect against that, because otherwise the Mutas can just dance between the bases, and he can't follow them quickly enough. But the cannons just haven't been enough, and he's been not having any protection for the cannons, so the Zerglings are taking him out too. So Sniper really being very mobile here, and I'm actually surprised we don't see a Templar Archives or something to try and maybe deal with these Mutas.
Yeah, he just simply does not have the resources. He has to use all of his gas on Stalkers right now, but he ideally absolutely does want to get the Templar Archives.
A ton of Zerglings.
Something else to note is
that a ton of Zerglings and Banelings, and he's making about 30 Morlings.
Ace continues to make double Forge. It's not very common in this matchup. Normally you stick with the one Forge, so he really wants to get the armor upgrades as well. He's at 1-1 right now. The Zerglings, however, are at 1-2 with +2 Carapace about to finish. It's going to be done before +2 weapons for Protoss. He's moving forward the Changelings to try to figure out which angle is best to attack. That's a lot of Banelings.
Oh no, my God. There's a ton of Banelings. He's going to charge in, but no, he's actually, no! Whoa, last second force field wall saving, killing a lot of Banelings.
But so
he's
many
blinking
Stalkers
away
going
now.
down.
Oh, this is going to be a slaughter in the expansion of Ace, but he is soaking up a lot of these Banelings with these Stalkers. He's blinking away. Whoa, what just happened there?
Why did he not use the Banelings?
Banelings walking right past the Stalkers. Now they're going to die. Only about a third of these Banelings actually landed on anything, but the Mutas are going to get that Nexus in the meantime.
Yep, and just more and more units rallying across the middle of the map. Muta's taking some hits from cannons, but it's okay. In the middle of the map, there are so many more Banelings, 34 in fact being morphed. He did rebuild his third, so even though he lost his natural, he has that base up, but to be quite frank, Moltrap, I think this game is going to end very soon. It's 193 to 109 supply right now. The upgrades are better for our Zerg player. He even has +2 for his Mutas right now. The ground unit's still at 1-1 because yet again the Forge was killed. There are Archons morphing here, but it's just not going to be good when this...
Oh! Those few Banelings got in and landed on everything, and that was all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, MVP Sniper takes out StarTale Ace. Wow, and yeah, definitely very well played there. Basically, I think what happened there is Ace, I really like that. I like the idea where he's like, all right, well, I'm going to take a quick third and then try and just defend everywhere. That's basically what he had to do, was try and defend everywhere while he got his 3 bases going. And Sniper was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to put pressure on you then, because otherwise I can't let you get away with that. And Ace just couldn't quite deal with the pressure well enough.
Yeah, I feel
especially once the Mutas came out. He was doing a really good job controlling on like 2 fronts, his third and his natural, but then once he had to control on like 3 or 4 fronts when the Mutas came out, he couldn't quite be everywhere at once and control perfectly in all locations.
I feel like the key problem engagement was the first group of roaches where he lost so many sentries.
Yeah.
He could have actually,
he could have saved all of them.
He didn't even have to fight. He wanted to flank because he was like, oh, maybe he's really going to try to force it up against these cans so I can flank and trap his roach on both sides. But then Sniper, he tried to push up and he was like, no, not right now. And then he backed up a little bit. Then the roaches hit the sentries and he had committed too much. He'd moved too far forward. He couldn't really save his sentries. He didn't even try to. Yeah. And when he lost all those units, it was like, oh, well, I didn't break your natural or your third, but I killed all your expensive units, so I'm okay because now you can't pressure me. But if he had defended that attack and kept his army alive and his sentries alive, he would have gotten closer to max very quickly.
Exactly.
Would have been able to afford making things like High Templar would have defended against the Mutas much better. And just losing that army really put him behind, and from there things spiraled out of control.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think you're right. The turning point was that attack with all those roaches, and he had an opportunity to either defend or maybe, he could have killed more roaches, but instead he just lost all of his sentries. And then he couldn't do very much after that. You're exactly right. So, and I mean, Ace is an excellent player. I got to give a lot of credit to him. There are not many Protosses in the world that could actually do as well as he did, but it just wasn't quite enough. He was not quite at that, very extremely high level that we've seen from a few other Protosses that was capable of pulling that off against Sniper. And you got to hand it to Sniper, did very well in that situation.
Yeah, he really did. I was pretty impressed with his play overall, and the idea behind Ace's play was pretty smart. Just could not quite execute it. I liked the splitting of units. I liked how he had the Immortals and Cannons at the natural with some sentries, just enough sentries that could buy him time.
Yeah.
He just mismicroed it a little bit, but I feel like no matter what, he could have held that with better micro, better decision making. I believe next up we have Inca against Lenok.
That
so
is
Lenok
correct.
will play his second game, and Inca gets to play his first one here. Inca has shown some pretty bad PvZ as of late. Most notably his finals match against Nest, but he's shown poor PvZ in other areas as well, notably the team league and his individual leagues.
Yeah, well, before the last series I casted of Inca, it's not a secret that I've never been too big of an Inca fan. I don't think he is quite at the tip-top level of Protoss players, but he manages to win a lot anyways. And the last time I kind of doubted him, and people tweeted at me, they're like, remember the Inca rule. Don't doubt Inca, because he'll make Dark Templars and win. It's true. Sometimes he makes Dark Templars, and he wins the game. And you're like, oh, well, he played badly, so he shouldn't have won, but he did anyway. So I got to hand it to him.
He has shown some really unique Dark Templar builders. He's shown DT Expands to be quite potent, not against Nest, but otherwise in other leagues.
Yep.
And he's shown the ability to, he actually has pressured with a 1 gate before. He's pressured with 2 gates against Zerg. He's just done 2 gate against Zerg, something that people have not done since the Zealot time build the Zealot build time was reduced. Since the Zealot build time was reduced, it was actually increased anyways. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but there's the Zealot build time was reduced, so he stopped doing 2 gates because he thought maybe it was too strong. Yeah, since the Zealot build time was increased by 5 seconds, it takes 5 seconds longer. No one's been 2 gating except Inca, and to put it quite frankly, he's shown some creative play with his Dark Templar and his openings.
He's a wild card. He's a player that I wouldn't say in the like Ace, or Genius, where you don't know what he's gonna do, but he's a wild card in that you don't know when he's gonna pull something off.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't expect him to. So
he's not going to play straight up. It's pretty clear, but you don't know how. You don't know which way he's not going to play straight up. You can assume Dark Templar, but that's not safe. So you don't know.
Yeah, but that's why it catches people, because one of the games that he won recently, I don't remember who it was against, but I remember noting that it was a really risky build, but his opponent just didn't get any up. I think it might have been a PvP I'm thinking of, where he just went for a really risky Dark Templar build.
The finals of the team league.
That's what it was, I think. You're right. And he should have lost if his opponent got robo at all, but he just didn't, so he just won anyway. And he almost lost anyway.
Yeah, it was close.
But anyway, that's how the game is played. You got to take risks, and if your risks pay off, then you can win.
That's very true. Well, we're going to get into this game very shortly here, I believe.
Yes, let's go. Sorry. My bad. Thought we were going to take a break first, but no. No. There's no delay. We're going to get straight into Leenock versus Inca here in just a moment. It's going to be a great game. I have no doubt of that. Leenock has a 1-0 lead at this point already. This is Inca's first game. And yeah, Inca, I mean, despite the fact that he does win some crazy stuff sometimes, doesn't have a very good record versus Zerg, I want to point out. He has only won 2 of his last 10 games versus Zerg opponents. And, you know, one of those things against Symbol in an ESV weekly tournament, and one was against Lucira in an up-and-down match from previously. So not the best Zerg opponents either that he's winning. So Inca definitely has an uphill battle. This is going to be one of his games that's going to be the most difficult for him. Probably the most difficult game of the group for him.
Consider Leenock's win rate against Protoss is also fairly bad. So we'll see both these players basically playing their worst matchup, and only one will take the game. Who will it be? The GSL up and downs with the wall trap. Wall. Don't go anywhere. We're about to get in the game.